A reading from the Gospel of Luke. Now on that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you walk along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have taken place in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" They replied, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and leaders handed him over to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, it is now the third day since these things took place. Moreover, some women of our group astounded us. They were at his tomb early this morning, and when they did not find his body there, they came back and told us that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see him. Then he said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all the prophets have declared. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them the things about himself in all the scriptures. As they came near the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on, but they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening, and the day is now nearly over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, blessed it, broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed, and he has appeared to Simon." Then they told what had happened on the road and how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. Amen. This story in the Gospel of Luke, near the end of the Gospel, is one of my absolute favorites. And I know I have a lot of favorites, don't I? But this resurrection story is so powerful. And it's one of those travel narratives, things that happen on the road, like the story of the Good Samaritan and the story of the prodigal son, where the father runs on the road to meet his son. And again, in the next volume of Luke Acts, there's the famous Damascus Road experience. Things happen on the road with Jesus, where theology is not just biography, it's also geography. Place matters and being on the road. Not everything happens in our churches. A lot does, but we're invited, and I would say required, to meet the people where they are on the road, as Jesus does. It's also interesting in the Gospel of Luke, where meals are very important. And especially with Jesus, he's always eating with people he shouldn't be eating with. But this meal is significant in that when they're eating together, their eyes are open and they recognize that they're eating with Jesus himself. Jesus is kind of uh, upset, maybe too strong of a word, but he kind of challenges them like, didn't I tell you that these things were going to happen? Why didn't you believe? It's also interesting they're headed towards Emmaus, away from Jerusalem. All the roads lead to Jerusalem. They're going in the other direction, which signals to me Christ walks with us even when we're walking in the wrong direction. Christ comes and asks, what are we talking about? What's on our minds? What's on our hearts? These are wonderful things to do when we're sharing the gospel with others, walking as companions no matter where the direction takes us, and being involved in their lives, asking, where are you going? What's up with you today? May this resurrection story be a blessing to all of us on our roads, on our individual journeys, knowing that Jesus is walking with us and ready to break bread with us and open our eyes for what God is trying to show us. Amen.